Let's take this discussion forward. We've got with us Ashok Gulati, Infosys Chair Professor, Agriculture at ICRIER, joining in on the show right now. Mr. Gulati, morning. Thanks so much for joining in today on ET Now. Help us understand what the farm sector bills really mean for the agri-economy.
Well, it's liberalizing the agriculture marketing system, which was literally, in the hold of APMC. The APMC served its purpose in the 70s and perhaps 80s, but over time, it had become more and more monopolistic and had more the commission agents rather than the farmers as such. So this is in a way to create competition, put pressure on the APMC also to reform and improve. But basically it gives a better choice to the farmer that if he or she likes to sell it in the APMC mandis, they are more than welcome. But if they want to sell it outside the mandi to a processor or an exporter or an organized retailer or anybody else, then they can do that. So in a farmer has better choices, and the legal environment will promote investments, building up of supply chains, save on the wastages, and hopefully improve the price realization for the farmers.
Okay. Mr. Gulati, pricing is one aspect of it, and so is competition within farmers. But is this going to per se increase agricultural productivity?
If farmers get a better choice and if they get better signals from the market what the consumer is looking for, then there is a backward investment. And in fact, many of the processors or exporters would help the farmers' organizations to get access to better technologies, because it is they who are facing the markets and they know much better what the consumer is looking forward to. So if the price realization is better, if the market signals are better to the farmer, then the whole thing starts revving up and productivity improves, the quality improves, the food safety issues will improve, the whole supply line improves.
Could you just break it for our viewers, Mr. Gulati? I mean, just for people who want to understand in simple terms. Will the end product, which is in this case for a consumer, will the vegetable prices go higher? Will the money go from, let's say, the mandi wala to a farmer? And if it really goes to a farmer, then what happens to the concern which is centered around inflation and other factors?
Okay, let's take the case of vegetables that you have put on the table. Now, if you go to Azadpur Mandi or Vashi Mandi in Mumbai, the commission officially is 6% in Azadpur and about 8% in Vashi market. In fact, if you see the reality, what is happening on the ground, many times the commission agents are charging from both sides, to the buyer and the seller. And the auction takes 1 to 2 minutes, upper limit 3 minutes. And in that process, the commission agent makes anywhere from 6 to 10% commission of the total value of the produce that is being transacted there. Now, if it is being done outside the mandi, all this 6 to 10% can be saved. Now, how that will be distributed between the farmer and the buyer and the consumer, that is where the bargaining strength of all the three parties will work. But what will happen is that the storage capacity that is needed badly in this country will be created more in the hinterlands now, where the produce can be kept for a longer shelf life. And that will save on the massive wastages in the perishable commodities. At present, if you go to Azadpur Mandi or go to one of the biggest mandis in Kolar for tomatoes, they are bursting out of the capacity. You need massive investment, 100% more, 200% more investment in basic facilities. Now, government doesn't have that money to invest in those things. I think private sector can be brought in and build more of storage capacity in this country, which is tuned to the market forces. So it will save on the wastages. It will help realize the farmer better prices, and actually it will help the consumer by a lower prices. When you save on the wastages, then you can enable the consumer to pay a lower price. So it's a win-win situation both for the farmer and the consumer.
Okay. How realistically do you think this will get implemented in next 3 to 6 months, and which are the states to your mind will really be able to adopt it? Do you think the non-BJP states also will be able to welcome it? I'm not drawing you towards political waters, but I'm just trying to understand that how easy it would be to implement on the ground. You know, GST was great, but GST implementation took 2 years.
You know, GST implementation is a little different process. And this is like what is happening, what happened in 1991 on delicensing of the industry. So this is literally delicensing the agriculture marketing of the country. So first necessary step was to clean up the legal environment. So this is what these bills are. Now, one can always argue how best it could have been done and so on and so forth. That's more into the political domain. But as far as the private sector, which was prohibited to come and construct its own supply lines, is allowed. Now, how much investment will come and where it will come, that depends upon the state governments, how favorable an investment climate they create for the investors. You know, the processors or exporters or organized retailers and so on and so forth. What government has done is also hinted at creating 10,000 more FPOs, farmer producer organizations, and help them to create basic infrastructure through an agriculture infrastructure fund of 1 lakh crores. Only a few days back, Prime Minister had inaugurated that and start releasing. So this is like during the White Revolution days, you know, the aggregation points were created for milk producers through cooperatives, and the money was given to them to organize themselves and create basic infrastructure for aggregating the produce or having, milk coolers there, chillers that can increase the shelf life and so on and so forth. So that type of investment, government has hinted through NABARD, it will be done. But actually the best thing would be to allow a public-private partnership in creating back-end infrastructure for farmer-producer organizations. And, you know, you need massive investments at the back end, and government alone doesn't have that much money. And it is the players in that system, the processors and the, exporters and others in the game, who need to come forward, and government can give them, some sort of an incentive, and to the farmer producer organizations make credit available at 7% or 4% rate of interest, so that they can also create a sort of a capital subsidy at the back end infrastructure will go a long way to help the farmers increase their shelf life.
All right, Mr. Gulati, I'm sorry to cut you short there. Afraid we've kind of run out of time, but good to get your views, and thanks for taking out the time to be with us this morning.